Hey there everyone, this is Seth, and today I wanted to show you a little trick that has saved me just gobs and gobs of time. And this is something that it took me a little while to figure out that I could even do this. And once I did, it really was kind of a game changer because, I mean, if you run a business anything like mine where you send out just tons and tons of offers to people, I mean, you have to talk to people and get the information and evaluate the property and put together a contract and send it all out. And that's a lot of wasted time, given that most of those people are going to be saying no to you. So something that I learned to do over time was, first of all, I created a real estate website where people could submit their information, so I didn't have to spend tons of time talking to them. And then on that website, you can see here, whenever somebody submits their info, it comes to me in the form of an email, kind of like what you're looking at right here. And really, a lot of the stuff in this email it just presents me everything that I need to know in order to make an offer and just test the waters and just find out, how motivated is this person really? And as you can see here from this list, there's a number of questions that I ask, but there's a few questions, and I guess the answers to those questions that really matters the most as I'm thinking about how I'm going to respond to them. The first question that I want to see the answer to is this one right here. What is your estimated market value of this property? So in other words, in the mind of this seller, how much do they think this property is worth? The second pair of questions that I really want to see the answer to are these two right here. On a scale of 1 to 5, how quickly do you need the property to be sold? And then what is your level of motivation to sell this property? And this is the person's opportunity to just tell me outright, I either don't really care, it's not a big deal, I don't need to sell it, or, the polar opposite end would be, I need this property sold yesterday, send me an offer now, and then also telling me really just their level of motivation and how badly they want to sell it. So pretty important stuff to know there. And then also, for that matter, up here, how much do you currently owe in property taxes? Because part of my offer, whenever I send offers, is I'm offering to pay off their taxes and pay for their closing costs. So this number matters for the purpose of factoring it into my offer. And really, that's all I need to know. And then, for an email like this, all I would do is, click reply, and then I'm just going to send them an email saying, hi, Jason, is this person's name. Thanks for your submission on our website. Do you consider selling this property for? And then all I'm going to do here is I'm going to take their estimated market value, which in this case was $30,000, and I'm going to just basically factor that by anywhere from 5 to 15%, depending on how interesting this property even looks for me. So in this case, we'll just say, $2,500, and then we could pay for all of your closing costs on the transaction. And then if you have any interest, let me know. Thanks, Seth. And that's it. So I just go ahead and send this email. And I want you to realize something here, okay? First of all, notice how much time I spent researching this property. It was almost none. All I did was look at what this seller said, what their representation was, what they thought it was worth in their mind. And then I took that number, coupled with the fact that they are clearly motivated to sell it. And I'm basically just sending them, my number. Like, would you ever consider selling for this amount? And you'll also notice this is not an actual legally binding purchase contract, right? All this is me just sending them a number and saying, what if? I'm not saying, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm not saying any terms or conditions or anything like that. All I'm doing is testing the waters and saying, okay, you say that you're motivated to sell this property. Well, then prove it. Are you willing to sell it for less than 10% of what you say it's worth? Because if somebody's willing to do that, then I know they're serious. I mean, they need out of this thing right now. They don't care how much they get for it. They just want it gone. And those are the kinds of people I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the typical run-of-the-mill seller who wants anywhere near full market value. Those are not my ideal client. I'm just looking for people who are apathetic. They don't care. They can't afford it, and they want out. And really, to find those people, it's just as simple as, spending 30, 60 seconds, however long it takes to send this kind of very basic generic email and send it out to them. I would say, on average, I probably get yes response to these kinds of emails. Maybe 1 out of every 15 offers I send, maybe 1 out of every 20. It's not like you're going to hear yes a lot. It takes a while to get to those, but The way my business runs at this point is that I get dozens of these submissions on my website on a regular basis. So I have no shortage of leads. I have plenty of people who want to sell their property. It's really just a matter of me going through them, cherry picking them, and sending out a lot of very simple emails like this that really take me, almost no time or thought or effort to do. All I'm doing is kind of weeding them out and finding out, okay, who is really serious and who really wants to play ball. And whenever I do hear people who say yes, that's the point at which I really start to dig into the property and really start to research it and spend time and say, okay, is this really something I want to do? Another nice thing about sending these kinds of emails that are, so crazily, less than the property's market value is that even if this person was way off, say their property was actually worth like, $20,000 or $15,000 rather than $30,000, well, I'm still very well protected because the offer I sent was only for $2,500. So, if they were even remotely close on their estimated market value, and a lot of times, even if they're way far off, there's just such a massive margin that goes into the offers that I make so that even when they're wrong, if they've said yes, I've still got a lot of wiggle room. So hopefully you find that helpful. I know, I used to spend hours and hours and hours and hours going through the painstaking work of talking to these people on the phone, researching the property, and putting together these big, detailed contracts and signing them and mailing them, all this stuff. You don't have to do that, all right? It does not have to be that difficult. If you're looking for that diamond in the rough like I am, fact of the matter is it's going to take a lot of no's before you find it. So don't waste your time with a lot of people who are never going to do business with you, all right? At this stage of the game, all you're trying to do is just get some very basic answers on, are you willing to sell at this crazy low price, yes or no? And just be prepared for a lot of no's, but just realize when you finally get that yes, you can rest assured that you didn't spend an inordinate amount of time wasting it with lots of people who were really never serious about playing ball in the first place. So this is the way that I've learned to make offers, and it's saved me tons of time. I hope you find it helpful too. So best of luck. See ya.